days, we're declaring victory. We're winning this race. There are great signs everywhere across the state of New Jersey that we're winning this race. Number one, we're out fundraising my opponent. How about that one? Wow. Number two, we've got Democratic elected officials up and down the state that are endorsing my candidacy. Yesterday it was no less than 5 in North Bergen and Hudson County. Another sign is the desperation on the other side. They're lying about me left and right. When the other side starts lying, it's because they know they're in trouble. But even mayors across the state have endorsed me. 6 weeks ago, it was up in Dover, Morris County, the heart of the congressional district for my opponent. Mayor Jim Dodd endorsed me there. He's a Democrat. 4 weeks ago, it was in Garfield, Bergen County, where the mayor there endorsed me. And when he got done endorsing me, he said, "Oh, what the hell? I'm changing my party affiliation to Republican."
Yeah! All right.
2 weeks ago, it was up in Branchville in Sussex County, where the mayor up there endorsed me. This is the sign. It's affirmation that people across this state have had it. Not just Republicans, independent, unaffiliated, moderate Democrats too. People want change. And the last thing they want is another 4 years of Phil Murphy, or Murphy 2.0. The most fun we had, though, was back in Dover, because we had that rally where the mayor endorsed me at a cafe, a restaurant. There were about 200 people there. In walked this woman at the cafe, not realizing what the hell she walked into. And when she realized what she had done, she came over to me, and she was a little defiant. She said to me, "I want you to know something. Mikey Sherrill is my congresswoman. I really like the job she's doing representing me in Washington, D.C. And I said, "Ma'am, that's why I'm here. You vote for me, I'll make sure she stays your congresswoman."
Yeah!
There was a pregnant pause, and then she looked up at me and said, "I think I like you." I said, "That's the whole point. That's the whole point." But there is great energy all up and down the state. What we're going to continue to do over the next 28 days on our way to victory is what we've been doing every single day since the day after the primary, June 11th. We're telling the people in New Jersey who Mikey Sherrill really is. She wants you to think she's a Jersey girl. She's no Jersey girl. She wants you to think that she's a centrist, a moderate. Really? This is somebody who supported Joe Biden's open border policies, supported all of his inflationary policies. This is somebody who voted no on the Lake and Riley Act. Let me see if I get this. You came here illegally, crime number 1, and while you're here, you broke the law. Crime number 2, we're not going to detain and deport you. She voted no on that bill. She voted yes twice. This mother of 2 daughters, to allow biological boys to participate in girls' sports. That's one of those 80-20 issues here in New Jersey. She supports sanctuary cities, us being a sanctuary state. This is somebody who broke federal law on stock trades and stock reporting for a congresswoman, and the New York Times reports was trading defense stocks while sitting on the House Armed Services Committee. This is somebody who endorsed Mondami, the Socialist Democrat of New York, and he's endorsed her. This is somebody who voted no on the big, beautiful bill. Let me see if I get this one. You're now allowed to deduct up to $40,000 of your property taxes on your federal tax return. The bill provides a magnificent tax credit for families with small children, child care tax credit. Doesn't tax tips, overtime, or Social Security. Provides a magnificent tax credit for those who send their kids to private school. She voted no on that bill. Here's the problem. It's just like what they did with John Corzine. They brought him here for Illinois. Didn't work out so well. They brought Phil Murphy here from Massachusetts. This hasn't worked out for him so well. She's not from New Jersey. So I got a really simple idea. How about we elect the Jersey guy? Yeah! Let's elect the Jersey guy. The Ciattarellis have been here for 100 years. 3 generations of Ciattarellis have all achieved their American dream right here in New Jersey, and that's what my candidacy is all about on your behalf. Now fasten your seatbelts, because here's how it goes down for the next 28 days. If you get a flat tire on the way home today, it's President Trump's fault. There's nothing this woman won't blame on President Trump. And then what she's going to do for each of the next 28 days, she's going to remind you every single day that she's a woman. So Al Barless has asked me to remind all of you, I'm a man. I just want you all to know. She's going to tell you she's a mother of 4. I'll tell you I'm a father of 4. She's going to tell you she's an attorney. I'll tell you I'm a CPA and a business owner. She's going to tell you she knows how to run a helicopter. Did you watch the first debate? It's clear. This woman doesn't know a damn thing about running the state of New Jersey. She just doesn't.
Right.
It's so what we're going to do is talk about what we're going to do for the people of New Jersey when we win. On day one, executive order number 1, no town in this state will be a sanctuary city, and we will not be a sanctuary city. That only encourages illegal immigration and makes the job of our local law enforcement harder. Executive order number 2, we're bringing back to work all of our state workers. Have you tried getting somebody on the phone? Phil Murphy's got them working from home post-pandemic. Try getting somebody on the phone. Try getting your issue resolved. You know what I find embarrassing? You can walk into a DMV office today and walk out an hour later in Florida with your real ID. Call for real ID here in New Jersey. They're giving you an appointment in January. I find that embarrassing. These people work for us. They're coming back to work. Also on day 1, I appoint an attorney general that supports both police and parents here in the state of New Jersey. So let's be more specific about that, because one thing my opponent is short on is specifics, okay? What does that mean exactly? We're getting rid of cashless bail. Cashless bail has created a professional criminal who's learned how to game the system. Talk to your local cops. Arrest, release, repeat is real. Let these men and women in blue do their job and keep our community safe. Also, my Attorney General will support parents. On day 1, policy 57 and 56 goes out the window. Under my administration, no longer will school districts be keeping secrets from parents. It's immoral, it's indecent, it's wrong, it's dangerous. No more keeping secrets from parents. On day 1, we get a whole new state board of education. We'll get the right public school curriculum back in our public schools. We're going to focus on critical life skills like reading, writing, and math, vocational training with an age-appropriate curriculum in our schools. We'll get them back on track. Also on day 1. You'll get a whole new energy master plan. I'm never telling you what car you have to buy. We're getting rid of the EV mandate. I'm not telling you how to heat your home. I'm not telling you what appliance you have to buy. There'll be no wind farms off our Jersey shore. And here's the best part of that energy master plan. You ready? At the supermarket, you can have back your plastic bags. Mayor, you know, I can say I'm going to lower taxes. I get a nice round of applause. I say I'm bringing back the plastic bags. It brings down the house every single time. Every single time. We will lower your monthly electric bill on day 1 by pulling out a RGGI. The Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative is a carbon tax policy that has failed New Jersey. Air is no cleaner, electricity's through the roof, and $300 to $500 million in ratepayer dollars are going to other states. We keep it right here in New Jersey. I can lower your electricity bill on day 1. Here's what my opponent has put forth. An illegitimate plan that isn't feasible. She's going to declare a state of emergency on day 1 and freeze utility rates at an all-time high. We don't want them frozen here. We want them back here. Now, if you want to know how illegitimate her plan is, there are 77 incumbent Democratic legislators in the New Jersey State Legislature. 52 are on the ballot this year. Not one of them has endorsed her plan. And even the governor, a member of her own party, went on TV and was asked about her plan. You know what he said? I don't think you can do that. It's illegal. We've gotten not a serious proposal out of her yet. And yet, look at what it is we're all up against after 8 years of failure. We know what we're up against. So this is why we so desperately need change. Also on day 1 in my administration, my Attorney General goes before the state Supreme Court with 2 new arguments that are long overdue. We're going to stop the overdevelopment of our suburban communities. It's time. We're better than this. And we'll also go before that state Supreme Court with a new argument for school funding. We need a fair school funding formula so we stop getting shortchanged in our suburban communities. And if by chance that Supreme Court doesn't agree with me, guess what your next governor gets to do? 2 new Supreme Court state justices, one of which is the Chief Justice, and now I'm not appointing anybody that doesn't agree with us on these issues.
All right.
So when people ask me, why are you running for governor? I've already told you the Ciattarellis have been here for 100 years. I've already told you that 3 generations of Ciattarellis have all achieved their American dream. I don't want to be the governor of a state where an overwhelming number of people feel the state's heading in the wrong direction. 2 out of 3 are looking to leave. People don't feel confident today, insecure if not fearful about getting the education of their dreams, job of their dreams, raising a family here, starting a business here, retiring here. These are all the things that people feel insecure about today. I would not be asking for your time, your energy, in some cases that you've written the check, or your money, unless I thought my leadership can change the way things are done here in New Jersey. When something I love is broken, I want to fix it. I believe that we can make a difference here in New Jersey and point it in a different direction and make this a state where people want to do all those things once again. We can do this. My grandfather started out, immigrated here, started out in the ditch as a laborer for the water company, worked his way up, became a very successful independent contractor. That business has been sold by the time my dad was an adult. My dad came late in life, but my parents worked very hard. My mother worked midnights on the line for J&J. My dad worked in the street department for public service gas, but there were 10 years in which they owned a restaurant. My mom worked midnight. She ran the restaurant bar by day. Dad worked by day. He ran the restaurant bar by night. And every dime they made went to their 4 kids. The roof over our head, the meal on the table, clothes on our back, and our education. And they taught us each and every day that we were to take care of each other, and we had a responsibility to our community, our state, and our country. Never expect anything in return other than fulfillment of the American promise of opportunity. And then it was up to us to take advantage of that opportunity through hard work. We need to get back to that day. I'm looking around the crowd like CEH, some of you can identify me. That was a time when you didn't have to worry about your kids walking to the bus stop in the morning. You didn't have to worry about what your kids were learning in school that day, right? And when I grew up, if my parents got a phone call from any of the sisters at St. Anne's, one of my teachers, or the cops, there was this thing at home called the wooden spoon.
Yeah!
One time my mother broke it on my brother and I was giggling. She went down, got another one, took it out on me. I was working the boardwalk this summer and there was a guy walking along with a t-shirt that said, "I survived the wooden spoon." I went and got that vote. I went and got that vote. To my mother's credit, 4'11", not 100 pounds on a good day. My sister was a saint. My 2 brothers and I, the woman never once said, "Wait till your father gets home." You could hear the drawer open in the kitchen. And out she came running. It was magnificent. And to this day, my parents inspire me. We got to get back to that day. And so we got to make this happen. We're going to finish strong over the next 28 days, and we're going to win this race. We're going to win this race. Now, back in 2021, when I came, how close did I come? How close did I come? No? I'm still in therapy. Just kidding. I said that the other day at a town hall, and the woman sitting in the front row looked at me and said, "I'm so sorry." I said, "Just kidding." Men never say "I'm sorry." It's always the women that say "I'm sorry." We came out close in 21 with the wind in our face. That night, with me at the top of the ballot, we had our most successful night in 34 years. We flipped 134 seats at the municipal county level, went in places we hadn't won in decades, 200 Board of Education seats, and 8 seats in the state legislature. I think I was the only guy that lost that night. We got wind at our back this time around, and I'm telling you here and now, with that wind at our back, we can flip 13 seats in the state legislature. When we do that, guess what? We get to 41. What's 41? For the first time in 25 years, a Republican majority in our state legislature. Let's get this done. Let's get it done. And so I'm excited as we go around the state. People can feel the energy. I only have 2021 to compare this to when I really thought we were going to win, but this time the energy is off the charts and it's all across the state. But we do have to finish strong, right? Yeah. Championship teams finish strong, right? So there's a couple things I want you to know about me. First of all, you already know how fortunate we've been because of our hard work as business owners in this state. But the point I'm trying to make with the utmost humility is I don't need the job. I've already had some of the best titles one could have. Son, brother, husband, father. One day soon, where's my daughter? Grandfather? One day soon. It's coming, I feel it. Anyway, those are the best titles. But I don't need the job, but make no mistake, on your behalf, on our behalf, I want this job. Leadership matters. Let's fix the state that we all love. I want to believe you love it too, and you wouldn't be here. Number 2. I'm not owned by any special interests. There are some very powerful special interests out there that own Phil Murphy, that own my opponent, and they're out there lying each and every day because they know we're going to win this thing. But I'm not owned by any special interests. Once your governor's owned, they're compromised. And once they're compromised, they can't get it done. But the third thing I want you to know is what's most important to me. Unlike governors on both sides of the aisle over the last 40 years, every one of them on both sides of the aisle has used this position to try to get to Washington, D.C. I've been asked to run for Congress. Answer has been, always will be no. I've been asked to run for U.S. Senate. Answer has been, always will be no. Okay? Al Barlas has not asked me to run for president, but the answer is no. And I don't want to write a book. I just want to write the ship.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about me losing my focus. My only ambition left in life is to fix the state that we all love. When this is all over, I'm going to the beach in Surf City. Okay? That's where you can find me. But you don't have to worry about me getting distracted. All right then, we got time for a few questions. Yes, sir.
Are you going to capitulate with Tom Holman and allow ICE to come in and conduct whatever?
So the question is regarding illegal immigration. I support the president. He has secured the border. Illegal crossings are down 98%. I support the president, and anybody who came here illegally and has a history of criminality has to go back. I support the president in that anyone who came here illegally and has committed a crime or has been scamming our governmental assistance programs has to go back. Unless, if you were violated by someone who was here illegally, and we deport them to a nation that's not an ally, doesn't observe the rule of law, and doesn't incarcerate them upon return, was justice served?
No.
In those cases, we need to incarcerate because justice needs to be served. Listen, we're going to keep our community safe here in New Jersey. I appoint the Attorney General. I appoint the 21 county prosecutors. You may not know this, but your local police chief does not report to the mayor. Your local police chief has a dotted line to the mayor. Your local police chief reports to the county prosecutors, and the 21 county prosecutors report to the Attorney General. I appoint the 21 county prosecutors. I appoint the Attorney General. They'll be on the same page with me, and we will have safe communities in New Jersey once again, I promise you.
Jack, and please, everyone, please share his response with all your friends, neighbors, etc.
Like the one that we're not raising the sales tax?
Yes, 100%. Exactly.
It's a big lie.
Thank you.
It's a big lie. We said that now what I found astonishing at the first debate is when the moderator said, Mr. Ciattarelli, your opponent says you're raising the sales tax to 10%. We comment this. I said it's a blatant lie. She knows it. We're not raising the sales tax. With a new school funding formula, we'll lower the property tax, and I will downsize our state government to afford a tax cut for individuals and businesses on the income tax side. And then they turned to her and said, what's your position on the sales tax? And she said, I'm not going to commit myself to anything. So let me see if I get this. You get to lie about me, but over here, you're not going to commit yourself to anything. Pretty typical. I think the translation of that is, I'm going to raise taxes. Her translation, right? When she says, I'm not going to commit myself to anything. So, yeah, don't believe the lies. Yes, sir. We're going to do what? Listen, the cost of living has gone up in New Jersey across the board in all respects. We're looking to get everything down that we possibly can. We're trying to make New Jersey more affordable. That comes to taxes. It comes to your utility bills, specific electricity. It comes to housing. And for families with very small kids, childcare. Childcare doesn't get enough attention these days of how much childcare costs. We need to fix that too. Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions.
Hold on. You had your question. Let's be polite.
I have two questions. I am not a fan of Murphy. I have no problem saying that. However, he is offering the 50% rebate of our taxes. This is the highest tax in the entire country. So we are looking forward to
On the
that,
property
up to
tax.
$6,500.
Right.
As a governor,
I support the continuance of that.
Thank you.
There's only one aspect of it I do not support.
What?
You can get that rebate up to making $500,000 a year. I
Right.
think that's a bit too generous. So
Okay,
for those who are
that's
making
fair.
$500,000 a year,
Right.
God bless you.
Right.
But I'm going to take that money and send it other places.
Okay, but the
Yeah.
problem I have with that is there's a clause in there that says as long as the budget allows. Is that clause still going to be there by you?
Well, they made that law, so I have to live by that law.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you need to worry on the budget.
Yes.
Second thing is I watched.
Let me say one thing about their rebate programs.
Okay.
I find it insulting. Now, the money they're sending you through the rebate, where did they get that money? They are famous for taking money out of your right-hand pocket, putting some of it back in your left-hand pocket, giving it a fancy name, and then sending it about 6 weeks before the election. It's a manipulation.
Oh, I know, I get that. But at the end of the day, right, the governor really has no control of the property tax. It does fall back on the mayors.
Not true.
Okay, I hope to God you're right, but I've been through all this.
Well, let me say this. The mayors catch all the shit for
Right.
property taxes.
Right.
But if look at your property tax bill, it has 3 portions.
Right.
The least expensive is the municipal tax. The
Right.
second least expensive is the county tax.
Right.
And then anywhere from 50 to 70% is your school tax.
tax,
And the reason why your school tax is so high
Right.
is because your community is getting screwed with its fair share of state aid to your schools. The more state aid your school district gets, the less it has to tax. Your tax is high because it gets very little state aid.
All right, I'll
And
see
so
you
what
on
we
the-
need is a new school funding formula. So your governor does have control over some of your property tax.
Okay. Now, my second question, I know that went too long. My second question was this. I did watch your election the last time, and you were winning all the way till 11 o'clock. However...
I was your governor for 5 hours and 43 minutes.
So, and I treasured it. However, when everybody went to sleep, Newark, Camden, Patterson, Trenton,
Let me ask you something.
what are
Did
you
you go to
doing?
sleep?
What are you doing with those 4 towns?
Did you go to sleep?
I did.
I told you to take a nap in the afternoon and stay up all night. You're the reason why we lost.
And I knew. I said, because I was down Newark every day. There
So
were
let
more-
me tell you what happened so you can rest assured that
I
it
just
wasn't
wanna know how
stolen in
much-
21.
No, I
Wait.
want to know how much money you're pouring into these 4 towns, because these 4 towns dictate how the rest of us live.
Do you ever see how hard I worked to win this election?
Yes.
Why
saw-
would I not dot every I and cross every T to
Okay.
ensure a victory? Now, since you brought it up, let's talk about what happened in 21.
Okay.
Okay? Back in 2021, when this was the law, the county clerks were not allowed to start scanning the vote by mail ballots until after 8 o'clock, which is when the
Right.
polls close.
All right.
Guess what happens when the polls close? All the results start coming in from municipalities.
Right.
What the clerk made the mistake of doing at 10:30 at night in Bergen, Essex County, is putting up the vote count. I beat Phil Murphy on election day in person on the machine voting.
Right.
They put up the vote count and they said 100% reporting. It was 100% of the in-person voting on election day.
Right.
It hadn't counted the VBMs yet. You went to bed with me ahead. Guess what they started doing after you went to bed? They started scanning the VBMs. And then when you layered the VBM vote count on top of the in-person vote count, I beat him by 250,000 in-person voting. He beat me by 300,000 through the mail. So when you woke up in the morning, what looked like a 10,000 vote victory in Bergen County was a 10,000 vote loss. Here's the law change they made. And there's something else I want you to know to put you at ease. The VBMs can now start being getting counted at 6 o'clock at night on election day. So come 10:30, it's a true 100% reporting.
Even in those 4 towns? Because those are the
Yes.
4 towns that
Here's
never
the other
hit
thing
the
that you need to
map.
know. That every single one of our counties has a board of elections. And on the board of elections sits an equal number of Republicans and Democrats whose job it is to oversee the counting of the votes.
Right.
So, I didn't concede for 11 days in 2021 because it was that close. While we're waiting for all the votes to be counted, including all the provisional ballots, we looked into every purported allegation of fraud. Guys, no system is perfect. When 3 million votes are cast, are there 5 or 10,000 fraudulent votes? Maybe. But I'm telling you that fraud is not what cost me the election in 21. You want to know what cost me the election?
Good.
The 700,000 Republicans who stayed home because they didn't think I could win.
Right. Right.
Guess what the election did? It was so close, it's now an eye-opening experience. Ciattarelli was right, he can win, and they're coming out this time. We're going to win this one.
Governor Ciattarelli,
Don't jinx me.
following up on the tolls question. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey is a bi-state agency. Governor's Cuomo, local Governor Murphy. Governor Murphy's been extremely quiet, so has his predecessors. There's a lot of waste going on in there. I've seen how aviation's direct expense budget was only half of their total expense budget because of all the indirect charges that the agency is doing. What are your plans for controlling the Port Authority of North New Jersey?
So first let me say, if I could wave my magic wand, this would take an act of Congress, and I am going to ask our congressional delegation, both U.S. senators and all 12 House members, to begin this dialogue. If I could wave my magic wand, the Port Authority going forward would only consist of the bridges and tunnels that touch both states. New York can have LaGuardia and JFK. I want the port in Elizabeth, and I want Newark Airport, which are the two jewels in the crown that produce all the revenue. I'm going to try like hell to accomplish that. That's going to be a long shot. It needs an act of Congress, but I'm going to try to accomplish that. The other thing is, nothing gets done at the Port Authority unless I approve the monthly minutes, and I'm not approving a single monthly minutes unless we get our way with the Port Authority. Okay, we're going to stop getting the short end of the stick. Okay? We're going to stop getting the short end of the stick in a number of ways with New York. They go ahead with that congestion pricing plan. That's an egregious money grab on the backs of New Jerseyans.
Yep.
I got 400,000, we have 400,000 New Jerseyans that pay no income tax to us here. If you work in Manhattan, you pay your income tax to New York.
Yep.
That's our tax agreement with New York. You know what our tax agreement with Pennsylvania is? You pay your income tax where you live. We get the short end of the stick on both sides of the two rivers. The point I'm trying to make is you're paying income tax to New York if you're one of 400,000. Did you buy a cup of coffee or bagel or lunch? Did you buy dinner if you worked late? How many of us go see a Broadway play? Do you know what we do for Manhattan in terms of economics? And now they're going to try and fix their subway system on our back. So here's how it goes down. They go ahead with that plan. Any New York plate that comes through the tunnels or over the bridge in the morning to New Jersey, congestion pricing fee, and I'll fix New Jersey Transit. Are we going to be pushed around? And while we're at it, let me get one more thing off my chest. I'm landing in Newark Airport recently, coming back from a campaign trip, and the little screen in front of me that you watch the movie on, as I'm landing in Newark, it says, "Welcome to New York." So I wonder, when you land at JFK, does it say, "Welcome to New Jersey"? So I'm going to have a little fun with you. We're going to win, and I'm going to get sworn in, and then I'm going to go up to my desk in the executive branch, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to call the CEO of United Airlines. And I'm going to remind him that he's a tenant of ours at the Port Authority.
Yeah.
We're the landlord, you know what that means.
Yeah.
And he better change that thing. When you land in New Jersey, it'll say, "Welcome to New Jersey." I'm not going to take your pension. I'm not going to take your pension. They're lying.
What?
But then what happens to the teachers and the ones coming in with the new plan that they have and then the parts? And if they're not putting in, how is it?
So this is with regard to teachers. So first of all, it was never supposed to be a transgenerational plan, the way Social Security works, right? So when we retire, who's paying for our Social Security? Today's workers. The pension trust was never supposed to be like that. So, but having said that, we have a labor shortage in law enforcement and in teaching. People are not going in. I have to make sure the compensation program is compelling. Compensation program is comprised of 3 parts: salary, health benefits, and pension. And we're not making any changes. We need more people to go into it. But don't believe the teachers. I think it's shameful that an educational institution like NJEA would lie to its members that I'm taking away their pension, which first of all is illegal, okay? So it's a big lie, don't you believe it. And the new ones are coming in, but I'll make the pension payment. But you know, while the state was making the full pension payment for the last 5 years, guess what they were not doing? Not funding the state health care plan, which is on the verge of collapse now. So you have cops, you have teachers and state workers who are getting a 2, 3, 4% increase in pay and going home with less take-home pay because of the employee contribution portion of the health care, which is going through the roof. The family plan just went from $52,000 to $69,000. That's a $17,000 increase. If you as an employee are responsible for 1/3 of the cost of health care, you've just lost another $6,000 in your net pay. So even when you get a 2 or 3 or 4% increase, you're going home with less take-home pay. You don't pay the bills with gross pay. You pay the bills with net pay. So I got to fix the state health care plan. But don't listen to the teachers.
But then the teachers that are retired will still get their health insurance.
Absolutely. Yes, that was the deal that was made. That was the deal that was made. But we got to get people to go into law enforcement and teaching it.
76, you can't go back to work.
No, you're not going back to work. Not going back to work. But what I would really like to do, and I understand the woman, I'm not going to discontinue Anchor, not going to discontinue Stay, not going to discontinue Freeze, but I like programs that are simple. The challenge with those property tax rebates is you still have to pay the increase in your property tax.
I know.
And then you gotta go down to town hall, fill out the application, wait 18 months to get your rebate. How about if we just freeze your property taxes once you hit age 70? And they're frozen for life. How about if we make all retirement income tax-free in New Jersey the way it is in Pennsylvania? Right? How about if we don't reassess your home when you do a home improvement, right? How about if we make the first 2 years out of high school, the first 2 years out of college tax-free so young people get a start here? How about if we cap property taxes at 1% of the assessed value of the home for the first 5 years of home ownership so young people can get a start here, right? These are all the things that we could do to make New Jersey more affordable. Yes, sir, with the beard.
Sorry, Mr. Ciattarelli. I actually emailed your campaign about this, and I'm sure it was a staffer that answered back.
Those damn staffers.
But it's the answer was fine, but I know you pride yourself on giving direct answers
I do.
To questions. So
It's pork roll.
to piggyback off of what you were just saying.
Taylor Ham, we're in North Jersey. Tomorrow when I'm in Salem County, it'll be pork roll.
So, as you were just saying about the health benefits, I live here in town. I'm also a police officer here in town, and my wife and I are both in public service. She's a teacher. So what you're saying is 100% true. In January, we are having a third child, and now I'm losing an extra $525 a month out of my pay.
Wait, I want you to understand what you just said. $525 a month. Multiply that times 12. Okay, you're looking at close to, it's more than $6,000 of net pay he just lost. Net pay.
Right.
So my question is, how do you plan on fixing that? And are you going to stick to the same formula with Chapter 78 in terms of police specifically paying a portion of the premium? Or are you going to set it to a defined contribution amount?
No, here's what I've said. The state health care plan is broken because of the employer. Now, whether you know it or not, whether it's it is the state health care plan, but many municipalities are in the plan, many school districts are in the plan, many county governments are in the plan, along with all the state workers and the teachers, right? And so if the employer, the state of New Jersey, screwed up the plan so badly that we now have this unbelievable spike, I have to reform Chapter 78 because you're not going home with less take-home pay. I think it's unfair to screw you because the state screwed up. So I have pledged to reform Chapter 78 so you cannot go home with less take-home pay than the year before. Sir, the best dressed guy in the house. If I had known, I would have worn my tie.
Mr. Ciattarelli, my name is David Bianame. I am with Montclair State News Lab. There's been a rise in
Are
unemployment.
you a student there or an employee there?
I'm a student there.
Yeah, my son graduated from Montclair.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm currently a senior. So there's been a rise in unemployment, not just in New Jersey, but nationally for postgraduate college students. What is your plan for tackling this issue in New Jersey specifically to ensure that not only jobs are created, but sustainable in the long run?
So New Jersey is known as one of the worst places in the country to do business. Why? Our business tax is now the highest in the nation, 11.5. While the Democratic governor of Pennsylvania was lowering the business tax from 10 to 5% because he competes with Ohio, whose business tax is 0. They were lowering the business tax in Pennsylvania from 10 to 5%, 1% a year over a 5-year period. The Democrats in Trenton raised ours from 9 to 11.5. We're also known as one of the most regulatory intensive states in the country. Big businesses also, small business too, getting concerned about the labor pool. You hear about people not being able to find new employees. That's because young people are finding greener pastures elsewhere. There's a dirty little secret about New Jersey. We graduate, not a bad job, our K through 12 students, even though I want to get back to that, okay? But those that go out of state to college, New Jersey leads the nation in the fewest kids that come back. That's why I want to make the first 2 years out of high school, the first 2 years out of college tax-free to kind of incentivize you to come back and have housing for young people as well. But we need a labor pool. The other thing we got to do is get our electric bills under control. Because what businesses are looking at today are taxes, regulations, labor pool, and energy. And we're starting to suck wind in all four. I'm determined to make New Jersey a better place to do business. I think that we can do that without screwing the consumer, resident, or doing irreparable harm to the environment. We make New Jersey one of the best places in the country to do business. We will grow the economy. That means more good paying jobs. People will live where they believe they can achieve their American dream. So if you believe you can get the job of your dreams here or start a business here, you're more inclined to be here. And these are some of the things that we need to do so that we don't go through what we're going through right now. That's what it's all about. So we have an affordability crisis in New Jersey because we face the highest overall tax burden in the country, right? And we also have an affordability crisis because of the cost of housing, now electricity, and also because of childcare. When it comes to housing, we do need more affordable housing. We just have to be very, very smart about where we put it. We've got to change the economics of affordable housing. So we shouldn't be overdeveloping suburbs, suburban communities where there's no mass transit, no infrastructure, no jobs, only putting more idling cars on the road. I like towns that have mass transit, bus lines, and train lines. There's jobs in the town, so people either have a very short commute or can walk to work, right? Downtown areas are famous for this kind of thing. And so we need more affordable housing, and I'm going to work on that. There's a shortage across the state for 200,000 for veterans, disabled people, seniors, and young people. And I want to say something else about all the housing that has gone up around New Jersey over the last 10 to 15 years. I think I mentioned this before. They're all rental units. Okay, in this country, you build equity with home ownership. You build wealth with business ownership. We want young people to have a skin in the game and build some equity. So we need to build more affordable housing in the right places, not in suburban community where there aren't those things that support high density housing, and give them a lease to purchase option so they can own the place, so they can start building some equity, right? I think we're doing the next generation a real disservice with all this. But we need more affordable housing across the state of New Jersey. The reason why real estate is so high is because there's limited demand. You talk to any realtor today, and the first thing they'll say is there's not enough inventory. When they say that, that means there's not enough houses for sale. So you have more people looking for a house than you do people, right? The houses that are available. What does that do to the price? So how do you get the price of something down? Build more of it. But I want to be smart about where we put it. And I'll go one step further on this. We got to get people to want to live in our major urban centers again. Our suburbs are beautiful, but they're not the engines of economic growth. Vibrant cities are. Vibrant cities. I got to get people to want to live in Newark again, in places like Trenton again, in places like Atlantic City again. How do you do that? Affordable housing, safe communities, good educational choices, and it will happen. Take a look at where Atlantic City and Las Vegas both were 50 years ago. Take a look at where Vegas is today, and look at where Atlantic City is today. It's sad. It's sad. I think we got time for one or two more. Yes, ma'am.
Jack, Aaron's got a question.
Right here. Uh-oh. It always worries me when somebody reads a question from the phone.
I'm sorry, will you support increasing funding for the New Jersey Commission on Cancer Research to help advance life-saving discoveries and ensure New Jersey remains a leader in cancer research and care?
So the question is, will you dedicate more money to cancer research? So we have a very, very densely populated state with a very, very high cancer rate, right? And what we now have is something we didn't have before. We've got our major universities that are tied to large academic settings, right? So we have Robert Wood Johnson is and Rutgers, right, are part of the medical school. In the South, we got Cooper. So we have these large institutions now that can do the clinical research to get to the bottom of these things. So the answer is yes. But it's also the job of the governor to make sure that our congressional delegation, 2 U.S. senators and 12 House members, work together to bring more money back to New Jersey. New Jersey is a donor state. What does that mean? If you add up all the federal income tax dollars that we send to Washington, it's way more than we get back. We've been a donor state for decades. That means we've been subsidizing other states for decades. We want more of that money back. And one form in which it should come back is medical research. Yes, ma'am.
Coming in, we heard the rally about Medicaid and the cuts that are coming down. As a parent of a special needs child, we're hearing the threat that ESPs are going to be cut, budgets are cutting, the amount of daycare. What guarantee are you giving that those adult children
Yep.
are going to be protected?
So this will be the last question before we have to go and do this exact same thing in Hudson County. Her question was specific to the talk of Medicaid cuts, right? Talk of Medicaid cuts, and also the are we going to take care of our most vulnerable population, those with intellectual disabilities and physical disabilities? The first job of any governor is to provide for the public health and safety. I promise you that no vulnerable population is going to be underserved in New Jersey under Governor Ciattarelli. Somehow, some way, we will make sure they're taken care of. I promise you that. Okay. Second thing is, with these Medicaid cuts that the other side is making a big deal out of, okay, there's been 2 reforms in the big, beautiful bill that don't necessarily cut Medicaid. Here's what they do. Now, you all know what Medicaid is, right? Healthcare for the poor. And it's paid for the rest of us. And we are our brothers and sisters' keeper. But here's what the president has done. The first thing he has done is said that if you're on Medicaid, you need to prove your eligibility twice a year.
Right.
You need to verify your eligibility twice a year. Who put that rule in place? President Barack Obama. He made you verify your eligibility twice a year. The 45th president, Donald Trump, kept it there. Joe Biden, the 46th, put it to once a year. Trump is putting it back to twice a year. I think that's fair. The other thing that Trump did is put something else in the bill. If you are able-bodied and your children are 15 years of age or older, to continue on your Medicaid, you got to provide 20 hours a week of volunteerism, education, or work to continue on your Medicaid. I think that's fair. Why is he doing that? It's not to be mean. It's because billions are being wasted on people who are scamming the system. So what measures do you put in to stop the scamming of the system? It's fair. It's fair. We want what's fair. And the rhetoric I'm hearing from the left, including my opponent on this, reminds me of when Bill Clinton